We'll build a land where we bind up the broken. We'll build a land where the captives go free, where the oil of gladness dissolves all mourning. Oh, we'll build a promised land that can be. Come, build a land where sisters and brothers, anointed by God, may then create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream. We'll build a land where we bring the good tidings to all the afflicted and all those who mourn, and we'll give them garlands instead of ashes. Oh, we'll build a land where peace is born. Come, build a land where sisters and brothers, anointed by God, may then create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream.
We'll be a land building up ancient cities, raising up devastations from old, restoring ruins of generations. Oh, we'll build a land of people so bold. Come, build a land where sisters and brothers, anointed by God, may then create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream.
Come, build a land where the mantles of praises resound from the spirits once faint and once weak, where like oaks of righteousness stand her people. Oh, come, build a land, my people we seek. Come, build a land where sisters and brothers, anointed by God, may then create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream.
Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Hillsborough online worship service. I'm Erdman Palmore. I'm a humanist celebrant, and I'm one of the founders of this congregation. Let's now ready ourselves for worship service by reminding ourselves of who we are and why we gather. We are a community of liberal, open-minded people who strive to connect with one another in love. Our physical home is located at 1710 Old NC 10, but our community stretches far and wide with loved ones who join us from all over the country as we engage in Sunday worship service. We are people defined by covenant and not by creed. That means we are committed to a way of living together with one another rather than a statement of belief. To that end, we support each other in spiritual growth and a deepening of faith. We challenge with one another to find more love both inside ourselves and in the world. And today, we welcome you with open arms to our house of worship.
This piece is The Pandemic as a Portal by Arundhati Roy. When I originally chose it, I thought that I would simply read it as is. However, so many things have happened since that time that I have made some changes. The coronavirus and the attack on our capital have hurt our nation like nothing else could. Climate change is real and dangerous. Our minds are still racing back and forth, longing for a return to normality, trying to stitch our future to our past, and refusing to acknowledge the rupture. But the rupture exists, and in the midst of this terrible despair, it offers us a chance to rethink the doomsday machine we have built for ourselves. Today is a portal, a gateway between one world and the next. President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris will lead us on a difficult path forward. We can choose to walk on it, dragging the carcasses of our prejudice and hatred, our avarice, our data banks and dead ideas, our dead rivers and smoky skies behind us. Or we can walk through lightly with little luggage, ready to imagine another world and ready to fight for it.
Do you hear, oh my friend, in the place where you stand, through the sky, through the land? Do you hear, in the heights on the plain, in the vale on the main, in the sun, in the rain? Do you hear, Through the roar, through the rush, through the throng, through the crush, do you hear in the hush of your soul, hear the cry fear won't still, hear the heart's call to will, hear the sigh startling thrill in your soul, From the place where you stand to the outermost strand, do you hear, oh my friend, do you hear, all the dreams, all the dares, all the sighs, all the prayers, there are yours, mine, and theirs. Do you hear,
Ours is a welcoming community where we find connection, a sharing community where our joys are celebrated, and a caring community where our sorrows are lessened. Each Sunday, we take a moment to share and reflect on the special happenings that have occurred this week in our lives. For those of you who would like to share in the comments or the chat, please do, and know that everything shared aloud and felt in silence is held dearly in the heart of this community.
I said, Julian, you are holy, you are holding my hand. And Julian, you are holy, you are holding my hand. And she said, all will be well, all will be well, all manner of things will be well. And I said, Julian, do you not know about sorrow? And Julian, do you not know about pain? And Julian, do you not know about hunger? And Julian, do you not know about shame? And she said, all will be well, all will be well, all manner of things will be well. And I said, Julian, do you not know about loneliness? And Julian, do you not know about disease? And I said, Julian, do you not know about cruelty? And I said, Julian, it's too much. It brought me to my knees. And she said, all will be well, all will be well, all manner of things will be well. And she said, no one does not know about sorrow, and no one does not know about pain. And she said, no one does not know about hunger, and no one does not know about shame. And she said, all will be well, all will be well, all manner of things will be well. And she said, no one does not know about loneliness, and no one does not know about disease. And she said, no one does not know about cruelty. And she said, I know, it's too much. It brought me to my knees, where I heard, all will be well, all will be well, all manner of things will be well. And I said, Julian, you are holy, you are holding my hand. And Julian, you are holy, you are holding my hand. And she said, all will be well, all will be well, all manner of things will be well. And she said, baby girl, do you not know tenderness? And baby girl, do you not know about friends? And she said, baby girl, do you not know about the Spirit? And baby girl, do you not know it's only love that never ends? And so all will be well, all will be well, all manner of things will be well.
Since the COVID shutdown, I've had the joy of watching the two little girls who live next door to me run around their yard and play. Last week, after the forecast promised snow, but didn't deliver, little Sally dragged her sled across the grass. Sitting on top of the hill, she wiggled and jumped, trying to make it fly down the hill. Eventually, her mom pulled the rope and down she went. Not as fast as when there's snow on the hill, but nonetheless, she went. She saw us watching and came to explain with big hand gestures and lots of enthusiasm. They said it was going to snow, but no snow came. I've been waiting for 2 days. Well, I said in return, when a girl needs to sled, a girl needs to sled. Uh-huh, she said. I was sledding down the hill. And it's true. When Sally's mom pulled the sled and she went chugging down the hill, she forgot all about the lack of snow. She imagined she was sledding, and based on her squeals of delight, she was sledding. Her imagination had taken over. Do you remember that feeling when imagination takes over and reality matters so very little? I've had to use a lot of imagination to get through this pandemic. Imagining when it will be over and I can travel again, when I can hug my sisters and friends and neighbors without worrying that hugging them will kill them. I've been imagining when we can all get back together in this beautiful space and resume congregational life as we know it. We human beings are both gifted and cursed with imagination, because as much as I have imagined the passing of the pandemic, I have also imagined the worst. In late March, I remember being able to see very clearly in my mind's eye my husband struggling for breath. I imagined having to decide whether or not to call an ambulance or whether to remove a ventilator. I have a strong imagination, and most of the time I use it to imagine good things, but I also find myself struggling to stay positive from time to time. Healthy levels of imagination can lift our spirits. They can transport us from dreariness, and imagination can allow us to create and manifest things that have never, ever happened before, like what happened on Wednesday. What a momentous week for our nation. On Wednesday, January 20th, 2021, we finally inaugurated a woman into the second highest office in the land. Kamala Harris, the first woman and the first woman of color to serve at the presidential level, a heartbeat away from the highest office, and serving with a president who clearly knows how to share leadership, who will groom her to take over and be the president one day. I was glued to my television on Wednesday, just like I was on the Saturday night when the victory was finally declared and she took the stage with Uncle Joe, preparing for the transition of power, finally to include a woman and a woman of color. Kamala is certainly 2 for 1, bigger than any of us even know yet. It was that night that I first saw the video of the little girl leaning on the table by her mother's computer. She was wearing a pink t-shirt and a tutu. Her mom pointed to the screen and said, "Look, she just won the vice president's race. She is going to be the vice president of America." The little girl looks at the screen and gets clearly excited. "Oh, she looks like me." She so innocently and excitedly exclaims to her mother, who replies, "Yes, baby, she does. She looks just like you." The little brown-skinned, curly-haired girl sees herself in Kamala. And this is so very similar to the conversations I have been having with my son's girlfriend, Dominisa. Dom is also biracial, with brown skin and curly hair, living with the fact that America sees her as a black woman, and she is embracing her identity. So for her to witness Kamala Harris winning, being sworn in, her words to me were, quote, "refreshing," end quote. And I am so happy that Dominisa is only 28 years old and seeing this, as opposed to those who lived their whole lives and never had the joy or hope to see in real life what they imagined. What Kamala Harris imagined even just a few years ago, and had the stamina and fortitude, dedication, and grace to manifest. After the bitter defeat of Hillary Clinton, Hillary, who has fought so hard against the anti-feminist movement and bears the scars of that fight, but nonetheless celebrates with Kamala. Kamala, who rose with the help of other dreamers like Stacey Abrams and Patrisse Cullors, Alicia Garza and Opal Tomita, and of course Shirley Chisholm, and so many more than I can name today. but Stacey Abrams. I have to take a moment to sing the praises of Stacey Abrams, who took a narrow and bitter defeat in the Georgia gubernatorial race and turned it into a win for the whole nation, flipping not just the presidency, but the Senate. She had a vision and a plan, and she manifested more than I know I personally dared imagine. And thank goodness. Thank goodness. For me, imagination always vacillates between the incredibly positive and the gravely negative. Just as much as I entertain the wildly possible, I also entertain the possibility of catastrophes. You see, I was raised by a father who did this kind of catastrophic thinking regularly. He entertained crazy notions of bad things happening. Like if I wanted to drive the car, he said an airplane might have to land on the highway. We weren't allowed to use ladders because ladders tip over. We weren't allowed to run in the house because there was no way to fall in the house and not bump our heads. He could imagine all the dangers inside and outside our homes, and he believed that he could keep us safe if there were just enough rules. As a teen, I often challenged him on this line of thinking, but it was to no avail. His retort was, hope for the best, but plan for the worst. He used his imagination to keep us safe, and by all accounts, we did have relatively few trips to the emergency room. So I have spent a lot of time over the last 2 years marveling over the resolve and the resilience of Black people who dare dream and imagine an America the beautiful while they live with America the catastrophe. As Langston Hughes wrote in his poem called Harlem, what happens to a dream deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun? Or fester like a sore and then run? Does it stink like rotten meat? Or crust and sugar over like a syrupy sweet? Maybe it just sags like a heavy load. Or does it explode? Watching the uprising of January 6th, I have wondered what the dream was of those villains, destroying our Capitol, desecrating the chamber, waving a Confederate flag therein. What were their dreams? What does their imagination hold? Do they believe that destroying our federal government will improve the lives of the poor, help children, the elderly, the sick? Do they have good intentions that we cannot see? Is that possible? If we let these events manifest themselves as increased fear on our part, we are sunk, in my opinion. But if we can imagine them as misled but not evil, as misinformed but redeemable, can we hope and imagine reconciliation? The reconciliation President Biden dedicated his, quote, whole soul to during his inauguration speech. Let's imagine that. Let's shift from fear and catastrophe to hope and possibility. Imagine if we can lift up the inherent worth and dignity of every single person, even those whom we are convinced are wrong. Imagine if we can bring justice, equity, and compassion into all human relations, even with those that we abhor. Imagine us accepting and supporting each other in our spiritual growth, even with those that we don't understand. And imagine everyone embracing the democratic process. Imagine a world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all. And right now, close your eyes and imagine the ways in which we are all interconnected. I see tiny shimmering silver threads stretching from my heart to all of yours, and from yours out beyond this community, across oceans and into the stratosphere. a web of love and resilience, hope and dreams that will be used to manifest a beautiful future for our children and their children. May it be so, and blessed be.
Promise of the Spirit, faith, hope, and love abide, and so every soul is blessed and made whole. The truth in our hearts is our guide. We are answering the call of love, hands joined together as hearts beat as one, emboldened by faith, we dare to proclaim, we are answering the call of love. Sometimes we build a barrier to keep love tightly bound, corrupted by fear, unwilling to hear, denying the beauty we found. We are answering the call of love, hands joined together as hearts beat as one, emboldened by faith, we dare to proclaim, we are answering the call of love. A bright new day is dawning, when love will not divide, reflections of grace in every embrace, fulfilling the vision divine. We are answering the call of love, hands joined together as hearts beat as one, emboldened by faith, we dare to proclaim, we are answering the call of love. We are answering the call of love.
An ending or merely prelude to more glorious beginnings by Reverend Michael A. Schuler. We have reached the end of this time for the gathering of memory and for letting the imagination play with future possibilities. Shall it be concluded then? Or will this adventure now commenced continue? Is this ending to be an ending, or merely a prelude to new, more glorious beginnings?
To my loved ones and relations, with me in spirit every day, to neighbors I have not yet met, close to home and far away. Be safe, be well, you mean the world to me. Be safe, be well, you mean the world to me. To my friends who make good music, sharing joy both far and wide, and to those who we depend on to teach, to heal and guide. Be safe, be well, you mean the world to me. Be safe, be well, you mean the world to me. to all who hear this message, to strangers and to friends, here's an embrace of music until we meet again. Be safe, be well, you mean the world to me. Be safe, be well, you mean the world to me. Come on now, be safe, wash your hands,